Hi, if you want to watch exclusive content with hot girls that you won't watch on YouTube, namely where Naruto roasts Kushina and Mikoto and many other hot girls without restrictions, then visit my Boosty channel at the link in the description.
Battlefield. Naruto Uzumaki, the 7th Hokage, the hero who ended the Great War, possesses a vast amount of chakra and is considered the strongest of the 5 Kage. But now he lies dying, and his friend Sasuke Uchiha stands by his side. Who could have brought them to this near-death state? It was the Otsutsuki clan. After Naruto and Sasuke defeated Urashiki, Kinshiki, and Momoshiki, half the clan came to Earth to destroy the threat. About 10 Otsutsuki remain, all critically injured. During the battle, much of the continent was damaged, and everything and everyone was destroyed. Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha, you are the first people who have been able to fight us back so powerfully. You destroyed almost everyone who came after you, but it didn't help you. You are humans, you tire over time, while we don't have such weaknesses, and yet, despite this, you are no less powerful than us. In fact, you surpass us, said the head of the Otsutsuki clan. He was exhausted, his arms slowly growing back, his body healing from its wounds. He leaned on one knee, unable to stand. This battle had lasted a couple of days. He expected it to drag on, but he hadn't imagined it would last this long. After all, these were only 2 people. The rest posed no threat. Before coming here, he'd taken only those who knew how to fight, and set out himself to take over Earth. But all his comrades were dead, only a few survived, and he himself was barely standing. Freak, Naruto said with his last bit of strength, his voice hoarse and dripping with blood. We will destroy you, Sasuke added in the same voice. Ha ha ha, you're going to destroy me. You're already 2 corpses. You won't recover. Your QB, Naruto Uzumaki, is already exhausted, just like you. And you, Sasuke Uchiha, have used up all your chakra reserves. Your eyes, just like you, are useless. All that's left of them is a pattern, no power whatsoever. Otsutsuki shouted, rising to his feet. We haven't given up yet. We'll protect what's dear to us, Naruto said, trying to push himself up with his arms, but he couldn't. His prosthetic arm was torn off, and his other arm was damaged. Protect what's dear to you. Don't be ridiculous. Look around. Everything's destroyed. There's nothing left alive. With these words, Otsutsuki approached them. Sasuke and Naruto looked around. Indeed, nothing had survived. There were scores of corpses all around, and they were in a huge crater. The thought that their family and friends had died because of their weakness overwhelmed them with despair. Tears welled up on their faces. It's your time to die too, Otsutsuki said, swinging his katana over their heads. Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha, gods of the shinobi world, died through tears with a smile on their faces from the thought of meeting their families. Emptiness. What? Where am I? Naruto asked into the void, turning his head from side to side. A white light began to appear in front of Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki, you are in a place that unites worlds, said the formless being. Who are you? Naruto asked, squinting. He couldn't figure out what it was. I am the god who maintains order in the worlds. And what do you want from me? My world is already destroyed. I know, and it was my mistake. The Otsutsuki clan came from another world. Their world was disappearing. They should have disappeared, but a demon helped them escape. I thought they wouldn't be able to survive long in the new world, but they adapted and destroyed it, just like their own. Why are you telling me this? Naruto shouted angrily. The last thing he wanted to hear was the reason for the destruction of his family. I want you to help me. With what? Why me? Naruto asked, not understanding how he could help God. I need you to go to a world different from yours. I can't interfere directly, but you can. I'll reincarnate you in another body. It will be changed to match the appearance of your soul. Why you? Because Sasuke refused. He's already in the afterlife now. So Sasuke's already dead, but why? Naruto asked, his eyes wide. He said that he didn't want another chance. He had already made too many mistakes in this world. "What's stopping me from refusing, like Sasuke did?" Naruto said in a serious tone. Before he refused, Sasuke said that you would be better suited for this role. "What role?" Naruto wondered what exactly he was supposed to do in another world. "You will have to save the world from destruction." "And what do I get in return for going there?" Naruto asked with interest. "I will leave you the power and memory of this world, and in addition, I will give you additional power and knowledge about that world." "What will happen to Kurama? Can he come with me to that world?" Naruto asked worriedly. "Sorry, but no, your soul is in that world and will influence it. The transfer, and the Kyuubi along with you, could lead to the destruction of the world." "You said that you would give me power from another world. What kind of power will it be?" "It will be a secret. You'll find out when you use it yourself." "So, Uzumaki Naruto, do you agree to go to another world and save it?" The deity uttered the last phrase solemnly. Naruto wondered if this was worth it. His family and friends were dead, so maybe it was time for him to go to the afterlife too. But who would save the world? He couldn't save his own, so maybe he could save someone else's? Yes, Naruto answered confidently with these thoughts. Immediately after the answer, Naruto's eyes began to slowly close. In the new world. "Happy birthday, Asta. Today you're turning 4. Blow out the candles on the cake," said a nun of about 16 joyfully. She had long black hair, blue eyes, and was 6 feet tall. It was Sister Lily. "What? Asta? 4 years? This must be my new body? But why a 4-year-old boy?" "Asta, blow it out," she repeated joyfully after a 2-minute pause. Naruto quietly blew out the candles and said thank you. Everyone was surprised by his behavior. Asta always acted like Naruto as a child, but in this case, his behavior was reminiscent of Yuno's. "Well, let's have some cake," Lily said, inviting everyone to the table. "What kind of world is this? I don't sense any chakra around me, but there's another energy here, Mana. How do I know this?" "Right, God spoke of the knowledge of this world, so it will be easier to adapt to it. For now, I'll just observe what and who surrounds me." Naruto decided to take it easy for 2 years and behave more discreetly so as not to attract attention. Why 2 years? He didn't want to overexert himself at such a young age. At 6, he would begin with light exercise to prepare his body for greater strength. So he tried to behave discreetly, although this attracted more attention. No one could understand why Asti's behavior had changed so drastically. Even Yuno, the one who always walked with him, didn't understand. Naruto immediately realized that Yuno was similar to Sasuke. He reminded Sasuke of his behavior, intelligence, restraint, and skills. Those 2 years weren't wasted. He read books. God gave him knowledge, but it was incomplete. He knew only the simplest things about this world. When others learned of Asti's passion for reading, they were even more surprised and decided that Asti was becoming like Yuno. Naruto read about mana use in books and what a grimoire was. He first saw a grimoire use while watching Lily. Naruto wanted to emulate it, but realized he had no mana. However, he did manage to sense chakra within himself, and what's more, he noticed that he was its source. In other words, he had an endless supply of chakra. He also read about demons in books. The descriptions of demons were different from those in his world. There were more of them, much more. 2 years passed unnoticed. In the evenings, Asta read in the library, and during the day, he and Yuno helped his sister Lily. Everyone had gotten used to Asta's change. They understood it was for the better. He showed remarkable talent in various fields. However, he couldn't use mana, and this upset everyone. They understood that without magic, you couldn't get far in their world. However, Naruto didn't care much. He was hated and despised in the previous world. He was a failure, but just as in the previous world, he wanted to become Hokage, which he achieved. So here he wants to become the Sorcerer King, despite the fact that he has no mana. 2 years later. Asta, get up, you'll miss your birthday. In the morning, as soon as the sun rose, Yuno began to wake up his brother. What? Did I oversleep? What time is it? Naruto began to bombard him with questions, half asleep and not understanding anything. It's morning now. The sun has just begun to set, Yuno said, opening the curtains. Wait, what day is it today? Naruto asked, coming to his senses and getting out of bed. Have you forgotten? Today is Sunday, your birthday, Yuno replied, approaching Asta. Then why did you wake me up so early, and on a Sunday too? Naruto started shouting, grabbing him by the shoulders and shaking him. I didn't want you to miss your birthday, Yuno said, not understanding what he had done wrong. I'm certainly grateful that you remember him, but it's 5 o'clock in the morning. How did you think I could miss my birthday when everyone is still asleep? Naruto shouted, getting angry. Asta's screams woke everyone in the church, and they couldn't figure out who was shouting so early on a weekend. When the source of the noise was discovered, surprise appeared on their faces, as Asta hadn't been so noisy in a long time, not since he was 4. They knew there had to be a reason. What happened, Asta? Why are you screaming? Lily asked, rubbing her eyes. What happened? Yuno woke me up so early, so I wouldn't forget my birthday, Asta replied, calming down. After these words, everyone present burst into laughter. They realized these were cries of indignation, and the perpetrator of these cries was as much a victim as they were. Well, since everyone's already awake, go to the bathroom, wash up, and let's celebrate your birthday, Asta, Lily said with a smile. Okay, the boys answered together. A few hours later, blow out the candles and make a wish. Today you're turning 6, Lily said, placing the cake on the table. Naruto blew out the candles without thinking. He didn't care about his birthday. Now he was mentally thinking through a plan for several years. Today marks my 6th birthday, so I can start putting weight on my body. If I sum up the 2 years I've spent here, several things stand out. First, I don't have mana, but I can use chakra. The second is the body. It takes on the appearance of me from my world, although the color of the hair and eyes does not change. Third, I need to check what I can do with chakra. This can be done in the forest. Fourth, having read all the books from the library, we can say that our introduction to the world was successful. Fifth, the people around me care about me. Sixth, if I... Yuno brought Naruto out of his thoughts. Asta, hello, what are you thinking about? Yuno asked, shaking him. Huh? What? Just nothing. Did you want something? Naruto asked, looking at him. Let's go play, Yuno said, leading Asta by the hand. Over the course of 2 years, Naruto became convinced that Yuno was like Sasuke. Although he now behaved childishly, he was a child, and his behavior changed depending on the situation. Naruto realized this when, one winter, while walking through town, they failed to notice a drunken villager and bumped into him. He started beating Asta, but Yuno stood up for him without a moment's hesitation. When the villager began beating Yuno, Father Orge ran up and saved them. After that, Naruto began to consider Yuno a true friend. The day was drawing to a close, and Naruto knew his rigorous training would begin tomorrow. He'd even found a place for it. Well, he didn't look for it, really. It was the corpse of a huge demon, the one slain by the first sorcerer king, on the night of the same day. Asta, what's your dream? Yuno asked, curiously in the darkness. Naruto was surprised by this question. He didn't think about her, but he remembered their rivalry. My dream is to become the Wizard King to make the world a better place, he said enthusiastically. Do you have a dream, Yuno? Yes, I also want to make the world a better place by becoming the Wizard King. I will never lose to you, Yuno said as he drifted off to sleep. Asta and Yuno fell asleep with smiles on their faces. What kind of rivalry is this? It began when a drunken villager beat them up. That evening, they vowed to change the world by becoming the Witch King. New day. New life. Today, Naruto began physical exercise at sunrise to prepare his body. This was his first workout, so he decided not to overexert himself. 20 push-ups, 20 squats, 20 crunches. 3 times a day for a month. Each subsequent month, he would double the amount. Naruto planned to reach the 1,000-rep mark within 6 months. Was he overexerting himself? The answer was obvious, no. Why? It's because he was strengthening his body with chakra. This was additional training for its control. Naruto initially wanted to use clones for chakra-related training, or for relaxation, but he realized he couldn't create them due to his weak chakra control. After a month of passive chakra control training, he was able to create a clone. Now, he could easily exercise, while the clone worked on his chakra control. How long did Naruto plan to train? Until he was 15. He'd read in books that that was the typical age for receiving a grimoire. Sometimes it could be done sooner, but only noble families could afford it. Others, like commoners like himself, had to wait. Naruto knew he didn't have the mana, but he could try. His brother would be going to get the grimoire, and he'd go with him. The monster's corpse became a perfect training ground for him. It was quiet, and there were no distractions. Yuno didn't train physically, only in mana control. Naruto expected Yuno to be talented, and he wasn't wrong. For 9 years, Asti's body was changing imperceptibly with each passing day. Stripes shaped like cat whiskers were appearing on his face. Naruto didn't know why. God had said the body would change to match the shape of the soul, but Kurama wasn't with him. After all, in that world, he only had whiskers because of Kurama's influence on his body. He had a theory. It's because in my world, I was with Kurama from birth. Even before I was born, Kurama was already with me in Kushina's body, the guy said, looking at himself in the mirror. His hair remained a light ash color, his eyes green. There was nothing wrong with that. He actually liked it better. His growth was a different story. From the very beginning, the first year after Naruto had first moved, he thought he wouldn't grow much, but now he notices he's growing. Soon he'll even catch up with Yuno. During his training, Naruto didn't notice how time flew. Each day filled him with new emotions. New children arrived at the orphanage. He and Yuno helped care for them. As Naruto expected, his body grew. By his 15th birthday, he was already 6 feet tall. Yuno, on the other hand, was shorter, 6 feet 6. Naruto's body was toned, with abs and defined muscles throughout his body. When he walked through the village, every girl stared at him. Yuno was also not lacking in beauty. He wasn't muscular, but had a lean build, amber eyes, and tousled black hair. Everyone in the village was captivated by the two brothers, their demeanor and beauty. Anyone could have assumed they were from a noble family. Grimoire Tower. Morning. March. A time when dandelion seeds swirl in a dance, and on one of its days, 15-year-old children gather in a place where they receive their own grimoire, which enhances their magical abilities. There are so many grimoires here. Maybe one of them will suit me too. Naruto stood thoughtfully next to Yuno. Around them were many children of their age, who had also come to receive the grimoire. Welcome, young men. A gruff male voice rang out, drawing everyone's attention and silencing them. Today is an important day in your lives. I wish you all faith, hope, and love. I am the master of the Grimoire Tower. No one from this realm has ever become a sorcerer king, but they have reached the pinnacle, becoming sorcerer knights. I sincerely hope that one of you will become the sorcerer king. Alright, now it's time to present you with your grimoires. Grimoires started flying off the shelves. They came in all shapes and sizes. No two were alike. Everyone got their grimoire except Naruto. But he wasn't disappointed. That was to be expected. Two guys who disliked commoners noticed that Asta hadn't received anything. One of them started talking loudly. Excellent. Commoners really are funny creatures. His appearance was indistinguishable from that of the other children. Yellowish blonde hair, a white cape over a gray shirt, a brown belt around his waist, and dark blue trousers with brown boots. This caught the master's attention. "Try again in a year," he said, his voice tinged with anxiety. Naruto stood quietly the entire time, unconcerned by his surroundings. He waited to see which grimoire Yuno would receive. They didn't have to wait long. In an instant, the entire room was filled with a golden glow. It was a grimoire with a 4-leaf clover. All attention was focused on Yuno. "A 4-leaf clover?" the sage said in a surprised voice. "The 4-leaf clover? The one from the legend?" Someone from the crowd shouted. "That's the one who received the first king of magicians," the master added, no less surprised. "The grimoire is imbued with power and brings good luck to its owner," Sister Lily explained. "Him? This commoner?" the one who had mocked Asta said angrily. Taking the grimoire in his hands, Yuno turned around and shouted out loud to the entire hall. "I will become the king of the magicians." "Wow!" everyone shouted. Naruto still stood there with no emotion on his face, but despite this, he walked up to Yuno. "I won't give in to you. Don't forget I'm your rival," Naruto shouted, pointing his thumb at himself in his usual style. "Ahahaha, did he say rival? He doesn't even have a grimoire. What is he thinking?" Someone else shouted from the crowd, not the same one before. Yuno walked past Asta in silence. "Okay, kids, let's go home. Let's celebrate this day," Fatherward said joyfully. Ki. What an incredible thing to find in such a small town," the man said, leaving the room. His appearance stood out from the others. A scar on the left side of his face, a long cloak reaching the ground, and dark, chaotic hair. In the evening of the same day, Naruto lay on the roof of the building, thinking about today. He wondered if his soul had anything to do with the fact that he hadn't received the grimoire. After all, he was from another world, and he had no mana or grimoire, and his body was changing its shape to match his soul. A familiar shout pulled him out of his thoughts. They were the same guys he already knew. The same ones who had tried to embarrass Naruto by saying he didn't have a grimoire. Why were they shouting? They didn't want to accept the fact that Yuno had received the 4-leaf clover and all attention was focused on him. "Everyone was supposed to be watching us today. And what happened? Some poor bastard got the 4-leaf clover grimoire," he shouted, beginning to cast his spell. "I'll just incinerate him," the boy said, releasing his magic. "It will be interesting to see what happens now," Naruto thought. He had no doubt about his brother's strength. With a simple wave of his hand, Yuno created a hurricane around himself, which reflected fire magic in different directions. "He contained my flame without even using a grimoire," the blonde said, surprised. "Do something," he added, turning to his comrade. "But do it." After these words, chains flew out from the walls, chaining the two attackers to the wall. "Now this is interesting. I felt that something was wrong with him," Naruto thought, getting ready to go to the rescue. "I can't let you burn it. Don't try to resist. My creation magic, Iron Chains, restricts the magic and movements of whoever it catches," the black-haired man with the red cloak said sarcastically. "Who are you?" Yuno asked calmly, without a hint of fear. "Until recently, I was known as a knight of sorcerers, master of the Labuchi chain. But I was expelled, so I'm a common bandit. And I'll take this grimoire for myself," Labuchi replied, releasing chains at Yuno and binding him with them. "Labuchi, is that your name?" "The only one." "The only one who can use the grimoire is the one it chooses." "But I'll kill you and take the grimoire." Underground collectors pay big money for a 4-leaf grimoire. How unlucky you are that I'm here. Well, I guess it's time for me to show myself. With these words, Naruto jumped down. "Who the hell are you?" "Oh right, you're that pathetic bastard who didn't get the grimoire," Levick said, clutching his beard. "You're wrong, I'm not pathetic, and I'm certainly not an asshole. And the grimoire in your right hand belongs to my brother, so give it back," Naruto said. The outside world is a place where they might turn a blind eye to such behavior, but you'll be dead before you know it," Lebec said, laughing. Asta, run. Yuno shouted. "I won't run from losers like him," Asta said, running towards him. At that very moment, chains flew at Naruto. He easily dodged them and circled around him. The fist was only a few centimeters away from striking when suddenly it stopped. Asta was caught in the chains, preventing him from completing the blow. What kind of feeble power is this? Are all mages really this weak? But fine, I'll play along, Naruto thought as he was caught in chains. "I'm not done yet," he said loudly. "No, you're finished. Snake dance," Lebec said, aiming the chains at Aster. The chains pierced Naruto's body. His wounds would have been critical if he hadn't used chakra at that moment to enhance his regeneration and protect his body. I shouldn't have missed that blow. It wasn't critical, but it disabled my limbs for a couple of minutes. I need to stall for time. I can use my eyes, but it's best to do without them. At that moment, Naruto was pinned against the wall. Lebec kicked him in the shoulder. "Thanks for this petty confrontation." "Hit, hit, hit." Does he realize I can't feel his blows? How did he even become a sorcerer? Never mind, I figured out how to slow down time. I need to say some nonsense, just like I said in the previous world. I'm not finished yet. I'll become the Sorcerer King. God, how embarrassing. Naruto's face was emotionless, but inside, he was burning with shame. He swore he'd never say such a thing in this world. He'd said something similar in the towers, but it was only to defuse the situation. "You? The king? I have the ability to detect how much magical power someone has using chains. And you have none at all. You were apparently born this way. No wonder you never got the grimoire. To think you don't have even a drop of magic. In a world where magic is everything. I bet your friend is laughing at you too," Lebec said mockingly. "What? So this body was born without magic. Then how would it live in this world? That scum said magic is everything. Does it mean that despite my abilities from my world, I'll be nothing here? But God said I'd gain power from this world. Then where is it?" Naruto was overcome with despair. Because of this, he didn't notice how his body had already fully recovered. "You were born a loser, and you will die a loser. Strike, strike, strike." He's right. No matter how much effort I put in, some things are just not meant to be. From the moment I was born in the previous world, I was called a loser. I died in my world from a lack of strength. So why should I have enough in this world? Naruto was becoming increasingly consumed by despair. "Hey, who are you calling a loser?" "Asta, it's true you can't become the Mage King, no matter what. I heard that even your friend says that it's impossible, because I'm going to become the King of Magicians." "What? He is not a loser. Aster is my rival." "I must not give up. I have never given up completely in the past, and I will not give up now. Do you really consider him your rival? Someone who doesn't have a shred of magical power," Lebec said, looking at Yuno. At that moment, Naruto grabbed Labucha by the leg. "No, not all," said Aster. Lebec didn't expect that, so he jumped back. "Wait a second. Sorry for looking so pathetic, Yuno. I'm going to give that idiot a good beating," Naruto said, raising his head. Naruto wanted to use the power of his eyes. But suddenly a grimoire appeared in front of him. "A grimoire? But how? I have no mana," Naruto said, surprised. "I knew it. It's impossible for Aster not to be the chosen one," Yuno said delightedly. A sword flew out of the grimoire and plunged into the ground. "Your magic? Impossible. You have no magic," Lebec said, stepping back even further. "What kind of grimoire is this?" 3 clovers represent faith, hope, and love. The 4th petal brings good luck. The 5th petal is home to a demon. Could this be the power God spoke of? Did I have to feel despair to unlock it? With these thoughts in mind, Naruto took up his sword. "What is this grimoire? This sword? Who are you?" Lebec screamed in fear. Naruto pulled the sword out of the ground. "You're weak. You can't even cast magic," Lebec said, pointing the chains at Naruto. At that moment, Naruto instinctively swung his sword at the chains. "He broke my spell," Lebec said, his fear growing stronger. Strengthening his body with chakra, Naruto pushed off the ground and leaped toward Labucha. Fear prevented him from doing anything, and the impact sent him flying into the wall. The impact was so powerful that it sent waves of lightning flying from the ceiling and walls. Debris that broke off fell. "I developed my body because I couldn't use magic, but it seems I needed it after all," Naruto said, standing where Labucha had been a moment ago, holding his sword with one hand. "Asta," Yuno called out to him. A smile appeared on his face as he saw his brother receive the grimoire. "Yuno, look, I have a grimoire too. It may be tattered, but I'll take care of it for the rest of my life," Naruto said with false joy. Why a fake one? He'd read about a 5-leaf grimoire in one of the books. He knew there was a demon in it. Plus, he'd sensed it the first time he touched the sword. But now he had only one thought. If this was the power God had given him, then why was it connected to the devil? "You saved me again," Yuno said, walking around Asta. "Someday I'll repay you." Yuno turned his head to Asta. "Asta, do you remember our oath?" Flashback. "So you want to become one too?" Yuno. "Asto. You are my rival," the boys exclaimed in chorus. End flashback. "So you haven't forgotten? I thought you were laughing at me," Asta said, clutching the back of his head. "I didn't mean to be nice to my rival," Yuno said, looking at the sunset. "But it was you who gave me hope. Whether you're a beggar or an orphan, any of us can become better than anyone else in this world. Let's see who will be the first to become the king of the magicians," the boys said in chorus, banging their fists. And so ended their day of receiving grimoires. The next day, Forest. Naruto and Yuno train for the Magic Knight's entrance exam, which is held in the capital of the Clover Kingdom every 6 months. Naruto leaned against a tree, exhausted from training, and looked at his grimoire and sword. "I received the grimoire, but no magical power appeared. Grimoires don't require it or generate it. I was able to dispel that criminal's magic, so this sword isn't just any old sword. It works as an anti-magic. I wasn't able to meet the demon inside the grimoire, but I need to try again. That's it, enough rest. I need to train. I'm sure Yuno is busy training as well," Asta said loudly, rising from the ground. 1001, 1002, 1300, 1500. Yuno was training with his grimoire at the time, honing his skills by chopping wood. "That's enough for today," Yuno said thoughtfully. "No, not yet. I'm sure he too. 1001, 1002, Yuno said, chopping the stone. They were united by a common goal, the goal of becoming the king of the magicians. At the same time, Grimoire Tower. "I understand about Yuno, but are you sure Asta can be admitted to the exam?" Father Ords asked, standing in front of the desk. "Well, he himself says that's what he wants," the master replied. "Besides, those I was counting on refused. But I'm still not sure that Asta can be sent," Ord said, raising his voice. "Well, he himself says that he wants this." "But I'm still not sure." Father Ords was interrupted by the master. "Do you think he'll be bored without Asta when he goes to the capital?" the master said sarcastically, pointing a finger at his father. "Oh my God, father," said Sister Lily, who had been standing nearby the whole time, with a smile. "Well, I just don't think he has a chance. So he shouldn't try. You know, others will miss him too. And it's not me who will be lonely. It's the children who won't have anyone to play with." Father Ords nervously defended himself. "Father, I'll be lonely too when Asta and Yuno go," Sister Lily agreed with a smile. "Ahem, ahem. Of course, I raised them from childhood. And I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't miss them," Ord said, approaching the door and looking at it. "But you're sure Yuno will pass, and Asta will fail the exam and go back, the master said. Exactly, you're absolutely right, Father Ord said joyfully, turning to face him. The beginning of the journey. Summer. Asta and Yuno set off for the capital of Clover to undergo trials to become wizard knights. The capital is located far from the village, and they have a long journey ahead of them. The capital? I wonder what it looks like, Naruto said with interest. He'd seen pictures of it in books, but those were enough to spark interest in the place. First, we need to pass the Sorcerer Knight exam, Yuno explained. And then we can examine her. Let's speed up, Naruto suggested, tired of walking slowly. Let's. A few kilometers later. Stop, Asto, let's rest, I'm tired, Yuno said breathlessly. Okay. Naruto had no choice. He didn't want to abandon Yuno. If it weren't for him, Naruto would already be halfway to the capital. Along the way they encountered various obstacles, which they overcame through joint efforts. After a long and dangerous journey, Asta and Yuno arrive in the capital of the Clover Kingdom, awaiting the start of the Magic Knight's trial. Now they must battle many powerful opponents to advance. The end of the road. Kingdom of Clover. Royal City of Ika. Wow, this is amazing, Naruto said, looking around the market. So cool. Wow, they have so many different things. But it's really expensive. It's different from our village, Yuno said, approaching Asta. If you only knew how different this is from my previous world, Naruto thought, turning his head toward the building perched on the mountain. It was visible from all parts of the city. So that's where the Wizard King lives, he confirmed rather than asked. Probably a regular king too, Yuno added. So one day this castle will be mine. Did you mean to say ours? Yes, don't worry, you can live there too. These are my words, Yuno said smiling. They walked around the market for some time. Where will the exam be? Naruto asked, savoring his fish. I think it's over there, Yuno replied, pointing to the arena where a crowd of people had gathered. Where did you get that fish? I got it for cheap. Do you want one? Naruto said, handing one to Yuno. No, thank you. I'm not hungry. Let's go there. Registration post. Next, the worker registering the participants shouted. Her appearance was unremarkable. Black hair, brown eyes, pale skin. The only visible clothing was a green cape that covered half her torso. The rest of her body was hidden behind the registration counter, so Yuno couldn't see it. Yuno, from the village of Hedge. Yuno approached and introduced himself. Yuno of the Hedge, may I see your grimoire? Yuno held out his grimoire. A four-leaf clover? The receptionist was surprised. All the workers who were nearby and those who were in line were also surprised. You're number 164, the worker announced cheerfully. It's not every day you see a four-leaf clover. Next. I'm Asta, also from the village of Hedge. Here's my grimoire, Naruto said calmly. It's quite dirty. Is this really a grimoire? The worker asked anxiously. Of course, Naruto replied without emotion. Okay, then you are 165th. Naruto followed Yuno's example and quietly walked on. Ahaha, he must be pretty confident if he came from such a remote place and acts so arrogant. Despite how scary his grimoire is, said the guy next in line. His appearance suggested he was from a wealthy family. He was slightly shorter than Naruto. His hair was yellowish and tied with a black ribbon. His eyes were blue. His left ear was pierced with a green earring. A medallion hung on his chest. He wore a dark purple jacket. Under the jacket, he wore a black t-shirt. A belt was attached to his hips, used to hold a grimoire. His pants were gray, and his shoes were brown. A little later, in the arena. These are Ankudori birds. The weaker your magical power, the more of them there are around you, someone from the crowd said. Hey, look at this guy. There's not a bird near him. He is the one. That same one? He is from some distant village called Hedge, but he was chosen by the four-leaf clover. All this time, Yuno stood silently. "One of us will become the Mage King, Yuno. This is the beginning of our legend," Naruto said, approaching him. "Will he become the king of the magicians?" Someone from the crowd repeated in surprise, not understanding why the one most hemmed in by the birds was saying this. But despite this, Naruto remained calm, using his chakra to keep the birds from approaching him. Although one bird did manage to land on his head, despite the chakra he was emitting. Fireworks exploded in the sky, signaling the start of the exam. 9 squad leaders took to the stands: Golden Dawn William Vengeance, Black Bull Yami Sukahiro, Silver Eagle Nozel Silver, Blue Rose Charlotte Rose Lay, Crimson Lion Fugolian Vermilion, Green Mantis Jack the Ripper, Coral Peacock Dorothy Unsworth, Purple Killer Whale Kaiser Grand Bork, Aquamarine Deer Real Boys Mortier. Each of them had a distinctive appearance. "They just emanate power," Naruto thought, looking at the captains. "Candidates, I apologize for keeping you waiting. I will be conducting this examination," William Vengeance said to the entire arena, opening his grimoire. "Appear, magical tree." After these words, dark clouds covered the arena. A green glow appeared in the center of the clouds, from which tree branches began to sprout. This was done to create the brooms needed for the first trial. Beginning of testing. "The Knights of Magic entrance exam begins," William said, closing the grimoire. "Now, we will conduct several tests. We 9 captains will evaluate you. Each will choose a worthy candidate for their squad, in their opinion. You will then be able to join that squad. If you are selected by multiple captains, you will be able to choose which squad to join. Those who are not selected by any captain will not be able to join the Knights of Magic. Your first task, you must take off on a broomstick. If a mage can control their magical power, they will do so instinctively. If you cannot, you have no business here. So let's begin." Each of the testers began their attempts. Some flew immediately, others rose and fell. But there were 2 exceptions. The first was Yuno. He immediately managed to fly higher than everyone else, standing on his broom, demonstrating his mastery of magic and confidence in his balance. The second was Naruto. He couldn't fly, as he had no magic, and the broom didn't respond to chakra. "From what we see, we can get enough information about what kind of mages these are and how powerful they are. There are quite a few candidates this year," Captain Charlotte Rosalie mused. "What's wrong with this guy? Why can't he even get up on his broom? It's like he has no mana at all," Dugolian Vermilion said, looking at Asta. "I'll be stepping away for a bit," Nozel Silver said, standing up. It was scorching hot outside. Naruto didn't know when this test would end, so he decided to go into the shade under a column. "What are you doing?" Nozel Silver said to the girl, who was standing under one of the columns where the tests were taking place. "Well, The girl began hesitantly, but was stopped by Nozel. Her appearance was similar to his. The same silver hair, the same facial features, the same eye color, purple. She was wearing a knee-length dress. Why did she look like him? It's simple. She was his younger sister, Noelle Silver. "I told you, you don't have to take the same exam as ordinary people," he said proudly. "But," the girl said, wanting to object, but was interrupted again. "Your future is already decided. Don't make unnecessary decisions." "Yes, Brother Nozel," she said sadly. "Your existence is already disturbing." He couldn't finish. "Why are you talking to your sister like that?" Naruto said, standing behind Nozel. "What?" the brother and sister said in chorus. "How long has he been standing behind me? Why didn't I sense him?" Nozel wondered, surprised, though he didn't show it outwardly. Naruto deliberately hid his presence. He wanted to wait for Nozel to leave to talk, as it turned out with his sister, but he didn't like the way his own brother was talking to her, so Naruto decided to intervene. "What difference does it make? Why are you talking to her like that? You're her brother. Shouldn't you be supporting her?" Naruto said, unintentionally raising his voice. "What difference does it make to you?" Who are you anyway? Not understanding what his business was with their conversation. It doesn't matter who I am. Why are you talking so proudly to your sister? Naruto asked, not moving an inch. Noelle stood silently at this point. She, too, hadn't sensed Naruto approaching them. But what surprised her wasn't how he'd appeared next to them, but that he was protecting her from her brother. Not only was there no mana in him, but her brother was also the commander of the Enchantment Knights. I remembered, you're the guy who couldn't fly on a broom? That explains why I didn't sense you approaching. You have no mana. Nozel kept his emotions under wraps. Even though he said it confidently, he didn't understand why he hadn't heard the sounds of someone approaching him. What are you going to do to me? He pulled out his grimoire to scare Naruto. In his eyes, Naruto was just someone wanting to show off his power in front of a girl. Stop, brother! Please don't! Noelle said, standing in front of Naruto. You two are so pathetic. One of you can't do anything, and the other wants to look tough in front of a girl, even though he doesn't have a drop of mana himself. Well, I'll be going. I won't waste my time on you, Nozel said, taking off on his broom. I should have punched him, Naruto thought as he watched him fly away. Thank you for helping me. My name is Noelle Silver, and as you might have guessed, that was my brother, Nozel Silver. She introduced herself nervously. My name is Asta, Naruto said, smiling. What's your last name? Noelle asked, plucking up her courage. I don't have one, because I grew up in a church orphanage. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. It's not your fault. Why are you hiding behind a column and not taking the exam? I was just about to, but my brother distracted me. Go now, while the trials aren't over. Don't pay any attention to his words. I'm sure you'll succeed. Yes, thank you. Second test. So, the first test is over. Let's move on to the next one. You must destroy the stone wall using a spell, William said. So, I can destroy the wall with jutsu, but will it count for me? Naruto thought as he approached his seat. Which jutsu should I choose? It should be something small and not too weak. Maybe use water shots? I think I'll use that. Without thinking twice, Naruto began making a seal with one hand. He was training to use jutsu quickly. Why isn't he worried about anyone noticing? He's sure that after the first test, where he failed to fly, no one would pay him any attention. But he was wrong. Several people were watching. From the stands, it was Silver Eagle Captain Nozel Silva, who couldn't understand why a commoner without mana was willing to go against the captain of the Magic Knights. From the participants, it was his brother Yuno and the girl he stood up for, Noelle Silva. What? Water magic? But he has no mana. The thoughts of those watching him flashed through their heads. The third test. Well, I see most of you have already finished, so I won't drag it out. The third test begins in 10 minutes. In it, you will need to hit a target that will be moving through the air. You will have 5 minutes to complete this task, William said, picking up where he left off the previous times. Maybe use a different technique. Let's use fire projectile this time. Naruto hit his target with one precise shot. Impossible. Not just water magic, but fire magic too. The trio were stunned again. The fourth test. Time's up. In the next test, you must demonstrate how accurately you can concentrate mana. To do this, create an image of something using mana. Time limit, 5 minutes, William said, then sat down. For creating an image of something, the element of earth might be suitable. But I don't want to attract any more prying eyes. You know, Noelle, and that bastard are already looking at me. I'll use the water dragon, resizing it so it doesn't stand out from the others. There were 2 elements in Asti all this time. But why didn't he show them? Yuno wondered. If he could use water and fire magic, that means he hit it skillfully, which means he has a high level of control. Nozel analyzed the situation without taking his eyes off Asta. The 5th test. So, we move on to the final test. This will be a one-on-one fight. Each contestant will be able to choose their own opponent. The winner is the one who forces their opponent to surrender, or the opponent is unable to continue the fight. I need to find that commoner who couldn't get up on his broom. I lost track of him after the first trial. Thought Sek, the one who had been after Asti in line as he paced the arena. Ah, so there he is, and he's talking to such a beauty. Even though he's a commoner, he's quite good looking. Naruto was talking to Noel at the time. They had become friends during the trials. Hey, Asto, fight me. Sek offered, pointing his thumb at himself. You really want to fight a loser like me? Naruto didn't expect anyone to challenge him to a fight. First pair, Asta from the village of Hedge versus Sek Bronzatsa. The referee announced to the entire arena. They walked silently into the center of the arena. Let's fight a fair fight. Naruto said with feigned joy. He didn't like this man. Sek whispered, approaching Asta. You don't have to try like that anymore. You're a worthless rat who got into the wrong house. Thanks for making me look better next to you. Got it? You're a redneck. After these words, Sek retreated to his unit. Every world has its scum. He's one of them. I'll destroy him before everyone's eyes. Naruto didn't notice how he'd started to express murderous intent. He couldn't stand people like that, those who wanted to appear better than everyone else. For a moment, all the commanders felt this thirst, but Naruto quickly calmed down and pushed it away. But it didn't go unnoticed. So here we go. The judge waved his hand. Don't hold back. Let's do this, Asta. Sek shouted, beginning to cast his spell. Creation Magic Large Bronze Core. Attack. Of course, as you say. Naruto decided against using jutsu, so he instantly drew his sword from the grimoire. Strengthening his body with chakra, in less than a second he slammed Sek into the wall, breaking through his barrier. I'm not here to exploit others. I'm here to help them by becoming the Mage King. Yuno and Noel watched the proceedings joyfully. Only Nozel sat there, confused as to why he'd hidden his power during the first trial. Fast? Is this acceleration magic? A thought flashed through William Vangean's mind as Naruto moved. No, that's incredible physical strength. Flashed through the mind of another captain, Yama Sukahiro. He didn't have this kind of magical power in the previous trials. The boy standing next to the Black Bull captain remarked. Dark yellow hair, an earring in his right ear, and brown eyes. His torso was covered by the squad's cape, beneath which lay a dark green t-shirt. His lower body was invisible from the arena. He didn't use magic. Game countered, exhaling smoke from his cigarette. What? Finral, the man standing next to the captain, asked in confusion. No, he didn't just use it. He doesn't even have it. Game said, remembering how he'd bumped into the guy before the exam. Or rather, Naruto had bumped into him because he'd gotten distracted looking around. Flashback. Wow, there are so many different people and grimoires here. Naruto thought, his gaze sweeping across the arena. His attention had wandered, so he didn't notice the man standing in his way. Sorry for bumping into you, Naruto said with a smile. You're dead, Yama said, turning around and releasing his aura, holding a cigarette in his teeth. That look, that killer look, his toned body, all muscle. He doesn't look like a mage. His aura, is he really my age? Naruto assessed the man with whom he had a conflict. What a disgusting smile. The smile Naruto showed made Yama want to grab him. So he started reaching his hand towards Naruto. I see you're already ready to die. Ready to die? I survived it, Naruto thought, stopping Yama's hand. He grabbed me hard, but I don't feel any mana in him, Game thought. He wanted to do something else, but his subordinates called him. Captain, what are you doing here? Well, one kid got tired of living here. It's time for us to go, Captain. Well, I see you're short on time. Forgive me again. It was an accident, Naruto said, freeing himself from the grip as if no one had been holding him. How is he? Yame stood there, confused. "Hey, Captain, let's go," Thenril repeated. End flashback. After the first battle between Asta and Sek, other fights ensued. Some were drawn out, others were quick. Yuno, like Asta, defeated his opponent with a single attack. And so, the final test is over. In 10 minutes, your numbers will be announced. You will need to come forward so the captains can vote for you. If a captain raises his hand, he wants you in his squad. Whether you join or not is your decision. But if no one raises their hand, you will leave this place immediately. William Vangeant's voice rang out. In 10 minutes. Candidate number 1, step forward. Yes, yes. Number 34. No offers. Number 40. No offers. Number 47. No offers. Number 67. One sentence. Number 78. The Crimson Lion. Number 99. Coral Peacock. Number 116. No offers. Then there's 164. Yuno stepped into the center. Those who want to raise their hands, please. All the captains raised their hands. This surprised the others. Although Yuno had performed better, he was still a commoner. To get closer to the title of Mage King, I need to take the best path, Yuno thought, knowing his choice. I want to join the Golden Dawn. Number 165. Well, I wonder if anyone would want to take me on. After all, I haven't shown any abilities, and I didn't stand out, Naruto thought as he walked to the center. Those who wish, raise your hand. That's to be expected, but what can I do? I can show them my power, but that will only confuse them more. I can also say something stupid, but I'm embarrassed to say that. Naruto stood there for about a minute, lost in thought. It's not even surprising, Captain Yami said, breaking the silence as he stood up from his chair. Captain? Thenril said in surprise. No matter how great your skills, if the source of your power is unknown, no one will want to deal with you. And after all, for the Magic Knights, only their magic matters. After that last sentence, Yame began releasing his aura, which enveloped the entire arena. Everyone present took a step back. Yame jumped down toward Asta. And his aura is stronger than last time. Compared to my world, he could be on par with a Kage. Naruto stood silently and watched as Yame approached him. Yama's aura had no effect on Naruto. It was all because of the chakra that coated his body. If you don't have a drop of magic, no one needs you. That's the reality. You said you wanted to become the Mage King, right? His aura never weakened for a moment. Some participants became ill and were forced to leave the area. What an incredible aura! The closer he got to me, the stronger I felt it. I bet that's not even the full extent of his power. So you plan to defeat all 9 captains, huh? And now, here, as I stand before you, you have the audacity to say you'll become the Mage King without even using magic, Yame said, strengthening his aura. I came here to become a Knight of Enchantment. If I don't succeed this time, I'll try again and repeat until I succeed. It doesn't matter how many times it happens. I'll do everything I can to get closer to the title of King of Enchantments. Yame took his aura. Uh-huh. You're interesting. Come join me. I want you to join the Black Bulls. And one day, you'll become the King of the Magicians. Thank you. A bird sitting on the wall of the arena watched all this. An hour later. Number 520. No suggestions. This concludes the exam. At night, the same day, Naruto felt ill from the fish he ate before the exam, so he went away. Sek, upset with Naruto for losing, followed him. You made a fool of me. Don't think you'll get away with this, he thought as he approached the door. Bronze creation magic, poisonous lizard. Luck won't smile on you now. Eat poison. The lizard was already crawling toward the door. Sek tasted victory, but he couldn't savor it. Yuno, who had been talking to Asta earlier, noticed Sek follow him. He had a bad feeling, and it came true. Having fun? Yuno said, holding the lizard Sek like an eagle he had created with magic. Ha. Ha ha. I just wanted to joke with him. You know, a parting gift. Sek nervously justified himself. I wanted to argue about which of us would become famous first. Get lost, Yuto said angrily, stopping the eagle he'd sent at Seka a few centimeters from his face. You're no match for Asta. I remembered. I have urgent business. Ha. Sek laughed fearfully. Naruto was unaware of this altercation. He was just finishing up his business. Leaving the restroom, Naruto headed toward the captain, who was waiting for him. Why is it taking so long? The captain asked angrily. Excuse me, I have urgent business to attend to. Well, whatever. Let's go, Finral. One of the two guys standing to the side created a portal. It wasn't exactly easy for him to maintain it for long, but he managed it, and the 3 squad members, along with the captain, entered. On the other side of the portal. Welcome to the Black Bull, the worst of the Enchantment Knight squads, Game said, looking at Naruto with a cigarette in his mouth. At the headquarters of the Black Bull detachment. Hello everyone, my name is Asta. I'm from the village of Hedge. Asta introduced himself as he walked inside. No one paid any attention. Chaos reigned all around. A drunk, half-naked girl with pink hair lay on the couch, confused as to how she'd gotten there. A younger, dark-haired girl sat next to her, eating sweets. On the other side of the room, a guy was yelling at 2 others. One of them was waving a flaming bat. The other was running from the fiery blasts. Are they at it again? Finral asked. Again. Yama replied irritably. This chaos could have continued for a long time, but the captain attracted their attention by hitting the wall with his fist, causing it to collapse. Captain, they all shouted in unison. They ran up to him and started asking him something in unison. This infuriated Yama. He ordered them to be quiet. Everyone sat down at once. Excuse me. We have additions. This guy is from the village of Hedge, Yama said, pointing at Naruto. I'm Asta from Hedge Village. Nice to meet you. Naruto calmly repeated. Hey, Finral, introduce him to the others. The captain said. Yes. This is Gordon Agrippa. He's a rather grim guy, but a good one. Finral said, pointing to the man standing next to him. Dark hair, pale skin, brown eyes, black lips, and black rims around the eyes. Krull wears a hat with a squad symbol on her head and a cape over her shoulders. Underneath the cape is a cloak. And this is Vanessa Inoteka. She's a bit of a pest when she's drunk, but overall, she's a good person. His gaze shifted to the tall woman with a voluptuous body. She has long, wavy, pink hair and full lips. She wears her hair loosened up. Her outfit consists of a pair of red, delicate lingerie with an intricate design. Hage, a small village at the edge of the world, Vanessa said, approaching Asta. He came from the wilderness and immediately became a knight of enchantment, and such a handsome man too. Would you like to have a drink with me? Allow me to decline. Naruto replied coldly. Okay, let's continue. I'm next. This is Black Valtia. He likes to fight. The little blue-eyed boy stood up. Light brown hair that reaches past his ears and forehead. He wears a rather simple, light white robe with long sleeves and wide cuffs. His black pants extend just below the knees and feature light stripes with a cross-stitched pattern running down the sides. Light-colored boots cover part of his ankles. A small pouch for his grimoire is worn on his belt. Do you like fighting? Do you want to fight? Luck asked, his voice thrilling. Let's do it another time. Look, said the ash-blonde man, holding it out to Naruto's face with a stern, sidelong gaze and a strong, broad chin. His long bangs, combed to the left, concealed a mirrored magical eye in place of his usual one. If you lay a finger on her, I'll kill you. This is Gashu Adlin. A little obsessed with his sister, but he's a good guy. Next up, we have Chammy Papitson, Finral said, pointing to a small, green-eyed girl with shoulder-length black hair. One of her most distinctive facial features is her thin eyebrows and broad forehead. Her hair is tied in a bun. Chami wears a light tunic that extends just below her waist and has a small pocket on her stomach. Dark, knee-length pants and light ballet flats complete her look perfectly. She wears a blue grimoire pouch on her left hip, which hangs over her right shoulder over her tunic. "Nice to meet you," Chami said, chewing a cupcake. "This is Gray. I don't fully understand him, but he's a good guy." Next to him is Magnus Swing, a real troublemaker, but also a good guy. "In general terms, explain to him what and how," Yama said as he left. "I heard Captain Yane said to explain it to you." "I'd be happy to help," Magnus said, standing up. "A brat from a common village, and a common serf at that. You don't even have any mana. And you're the newest member of the Black Bull? Well then, let me show you what I can do." At that very moment, Naruto was behind Magna and held his sword to his throat. "Hope that's enough." "What? When did you have time?" Magna froze in surprise, not understanding how this had happened. "Wow, you're strong," Luck said delightedly. Naruto put the sword back into the grimoire. "Ha, guys, don't fight," Vanessa said nervously, changing the subject. "Tell me, Asto, what's that bird on your head?" "She's been sitting there since the last test," Naruto explained calmly, as if nothing had happened. "Can someone show me my room? I need to rest." "I can," Finral said a little nervously. In Naruto's room. "This day will be the beginning of history. But before it ends," Naruto reasoned. "What kind of bird are you?" "You can absorb my chakra. Then I'll give you enough to satisfy your hunger." Naruto spent a couple of minutes transmitting chakra to her. When the bird flew away, he decided that this would be enough, so he turned off the light and went to bed. Uncertainty. Naruto was in the void, surrounded by nothing holding him. He had no support, he couldn't use his powers, he had no idea where he was. All around him was endless darkness. The last thing he remembered was going to sleep. Out of desperation, he decided to scream into the void. It was the only thing he could do. "Hey! Where am I? Is anyone here?" Naruto shouted as loud as he could. The answer didn't take long to come. A moment later, something resembling the demon from the books in the church library appeared before him. "Welcome," said a demon several dozen times larger than Naruto. He had no specific appearance. He was a black silhouette with glowing red eyes. Behind him were a pair of black wings. "Who are you? Are you a demon?" Naruto wanted to confirm his guess. "So you know about demons?" "Yes, you're right, I am a demon," he confirmed. "I'm surprised you're not afraid of me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to enter the real world. I'll take your body now." "What makes you think I'll let you do that?" Naruto said, moving behind the demon. "If I understand correctly, then we're in my subconscious, which means I can bend it to suit my needs." "What?" the demon blurted out in surprise. He hadn't expected Naruto to figure out his location so quickly. "I see you're surprised, but it doesn't matter. If you don't want to help me willingly, I'll do it by force." A cage coiled around the demon, enclosing him on all sides. "How could you? Pathetic man." The demon got angry. "Calm down and we'll talk normally," Naruto said calmly. "Damn fine, just take this damn cage away," the demon said out of desperation, realizing he simply couldn't escape. "Thank you for your understanding. I'm sure we can get along," Naruto said with a smile, putting the cage away. Naruto wanted to add something, but he didn't have time. His sleep was disturbed. "What a strange guy," came from the demon's lips into the void. Naruto's room. Opening his eyes, the boy saw a rather provocative scene. Lying on top of him was a naked, short, slender girl with black, styled hair. 2 black horns grew on the sides of her head. Her breast size was AB. How did Naruto know this? In his world, he spent a lot of time with Jiraiya, so it wasn't hard to determine. Some parts of her body were covered by a blanket, while others touched Naruto. Her appearance captivated him. Naruto lay admiring her for several minutes. He pondered where she could have come from. One thought that haunted him was that the girl had transformed from the bird to which he had transferred chakra. Naruto wanted to wake her, but she began to open her eyes. Rubbing them, she saw the red face of the ash-haired boy before her. Lowering her head, she understood the reason. Her entire body was naked. A blush appeared on her white face as well. Why am I in human form? She asked awkwardly. Perhaps it's because I passed on my power to you, Naruto replied. But you don't have mana, the girl said, wrapping herself in a blanket. You're right, but I have another power. It's similar to mana, although completely different, Naruto explained. Is this your true form? Yes, but I don't understand how it happened that I transferred into him, she answered, looking into Naruto's eyes. Well, if you're human, let's get acquainted. My name is Asta. He introduced himself with a smile. My name is Seeker Swallowtail. Could you lend me some clothes? Said the Red Seeker. Naruto found a t-shirt for her. It was long enough to cover her up to her knees. She was 6 feet tall. Thank you, she said, putting on her t-shirt. Why did you take the form of a bird? Naruto asked with interest. Could you tell me your story? And I'll tell you mine. Okay, Sikri replied without hesitation. I was born into a noble family, but due to my low magical power, I was assigned as a servant to Prince Lumiere Silvermillion Clover. Together, we crafted various magical tools. One day, I spied Lumiere and his sister Tesha sneaking out of the castle to visit an elf clan. That day, they introduced me to the elves. Everything was going well. Lumiere's sister was preparing for her wedding to Licht, the leader of the elf race. But on their wedding day, I heard Lumiere calling for help. I found him bound by magic. Noticing that the magical tool had been stolen, I told the prince. We set off for the wedding venue, but arrived too late. The magical tool had been used to kill the elves and Tesha, and Licht's grimoire had become corrupted, becoming five-leafed. To prevent Zagerd, a high-ranking demon and puppeteer, from taking over his body, Licht uses magic stones and transforms into a gigantic demon. While Lumiere fights the monster, I take the magic tool and the magic stones. Lumiere uses the tool to absorb the monster's magic, and although it breaks, it weakens Licht enough for the prince to kill him. I use the magic stones to seal Zagerd, causing 2 black horns to grow on my head. She paused, touching them. They only make you more beautiful, Naruto said after seeing the disappointment on her face. The girl was surprised. She couldn't understand why the man liked her horns. Without thinking twice, Seeker continued her story. But before the spell ends, the demon summons the magic stones and uses them for the future reincarnation of the elves, planning to return with them. Lumiere was mortally wounded, and to prevent his death, I use the magic stones again and seal him within the statue on the skull of the demon god on the outskirts of Hajj. Because I use forbidden magic too often, I turned into an anti-bird. 500 years later, along with a flock of anti-birds, I attend the entrance exam of the Magic Knights. Before the exam begins, we pester several participants, but soon something draws me to you, and I decide to follow you here, where you imparted your unknown power to me. Thus she concluded her story. As the story concluded, the ash-haired man hugged Seeker, feeling sorry for her. In the 10 minutes she'd been telling him the story, he'd realized more than once that he wasn't the only one with a complicated past in which he'd lost everything. Sikri was surprised again. Why was this man so kind to her? She knew he was good, but not that good. Now you don't have to worry, you're safe, Naruto said firmly. I will always protect you, no matter what it takes. I'm ready to die for you. What was the reason for Naruto's attitude towards Seeker? He himself didn't fully understand, but he wanted her to never be sad. Perhaps it was because of her story, perhaps because he liked her. The only thing he was absolutely certain of was that he would never leave her. You said that after my story, you would tell yours, Sikri said quietly in his arms. Okay, but I'd rather show you everything. Naruto activated his eyes to show her his past life, along with his present. He decided to save time this way. Why did he decide to tell her about something that wasn't of this world? He didn't want to lie to Seeker, didn't want to keep secrets from her. He decided to trust her. Naruto showed his past. Childhood, his time at the academy, his missions, his pursuit of Sasuke, his training with Jiraiya, his meeting with his parents, the war, his battle with Madara, his battle with Kaguya, his final battle with Sasuke, his wedding, his family, his last moment in the past world, and his life in the new world up to that point. The total duration of the illusion lasted about 5 minutes, but during that time, Sikri cried more than once. She began to understand that their fates were similar. After the illusion ended, she wiped away her tears. And, to Naruto's surprise, she kissed him. The kiss didn't last long, but it was enough for the ash-haired man to experience a mixture of confusion and pleasure. I'm sorry, said the Red Seeker, pulling away. And nothing. Naruto replied. There was silence for a few minutes. Naruto decided to break it. So you need to go clothes shopping? He asked, smiling. Yes, but I don't have any money. Sikri replied sadly. Money isn't a problem, Naruto said instantly. Come on, we'll leave in 15 minutes. Okay. Sikri agreed, nodding her head. Then I'll go warn the captain that I'm going into town, and you pick out some clothes. Captain! Captain! Naruto paced the room, shouting. He didn't know where the captain was. What are you yelling about? I'm in the library. Yama's words shocked Naruto. Naruto walked into the library and saw Yama sitting at a table reading a book. He was just finishing it. There were 2 stacks on the table, one on the left. It contained about 20 books. In fact, it was from this stack that Yama picked up a new book. He placed the one he had finished on the second one on the right. It contained about 100 books. Captain, what are you doing in the library? What can you do in a library? Reading books, of course. You idiot! You don't look like you like to read. What? Did you want to die? Oh, what are you saying? I'm sorry. So why were you looking for me? Yame asked, turning the page. I need to go to the city, so I decided to warn you. Okay, don't forget to close the door when you leave the library. Naruto was returning to the room to tell Sikri he was ready to go out. Opening the door, he saw her, shirtless, putting on his t-shirt. Without thinking, he abruptly closed the door. How many awkward moments and surprises have I experienced this morning? Naruto thought to himself. I'm done, you can come in, Sikri said. Sorry for opening the door without knocking. It's okay, you've already seen everything, Sikri said, blushing. Naruto blushed as well. So how are we going to get to the city? Give me your hand. Sikri held out hers. Using the mark he left in the city, they were transported there in less than a second. This is technology from my world, Naruto explained. So which store should we go to first? They stayed in the city until evening. After Sikri picked out her clothes, Naruto suggested going to a cafe and then taking a walk. Their day ended with a kiss on the bridge as the sun set. Part 8. First mission Naruto's room. It was morning. Naruto woke up to the sun's rays hitting his eyes. About a month had passed since he joined the Black Bulls. During that time, many adventures and events had occurred. His first, though unofficial, mission was with a squad to stop attackers on a village near the forest where he, Noel, and Magna were hunting animals. After they managed to stop the attackers, Magna declared it his home village and thanked Noel and Asta for their help. This event contributed to the improvement of Magna and Asta's relationship. Another, no less important event was the meeting with Noel Nozel's brother. It happened on one of the city streets. Although their encounter was chance, it was no less significant. Flashback. What beautiful weather, Gel thought to himself. Naruto. Tell me, Liba, do you like this weather? I don't care about her, he replied angrily. Liba didn't understand why Asta wanted to mend fences with him. As Liba understood it, Asta didn't really need the power of anti-magic. Well, damn, the last thing we need is him here, Naruto whispered, seeing Nozel, the one he almost fought with during the entrance exam, on the horizon. I hope he doesn't recognize me. I don't want to start a fight in the city center, Naruto already noted mentally. The distance between them decreased every second, and now they pass each other. Phew, that's a relief, Naruto thought happily, but it was too early to rejoice. He hadn't even taken 5 steps from their meeting when Nozel called out to him. Asta, the commoner who stood up for my sister, is that you? Nozel said, looking at her back. No, of course not. You must have made a mistake. I'm Kayasuke. I have to go, so goodbye. Naruto hoped they didn't recognize him. He wanted to get away from him as quickly as possible. Wait, I know it's you. You're the only one who has no mana at all, Nozel said, trying to show he had no ill intentions. Well, yes, I was the one who stood up to protect your sister from you, Naruto replied with a hint of malice. I know I did the wrong thing back then. Let me explain everything to you. The tone of his voice didn't hint at malice. You want to explain to me why you bullied Noelle? She told me how you felt about her. This wasn't the first time, Naruto said angrily. Yes, that's exactly what I want to explain to you. Please allow me to do so. Let's go to a cafe where no one will disturb us. Well, I agree, but if I don't think the reason is compelling enough, I'll beat you, Naruto said, calming down. In a cafe. We've been sitting here for 5 minutes. Maybe you should start talking already? Naruto was starting to get angry. Yes, sorry. I was thinking about how to start the story, Nozel said sadly. I'll start telling you the story of Noelle's life from the very beginning. I don't know what she means to you. I told you. So listen carefully and don't interrupt. Okay, go ahead. Okay, but first I'll ask you one question. Does the name Ash Silver mean anything to you? Yes, Noelle said that it was her mother, who died after giving birth to her. Well, I'll tell you more. Ashier Silver was a noble from the royal family of the Clover Kingdom, House Silver. Ashier bore a striking resemblance to her youngest daughter, Noelle. She was a strong woman. Ashier often trained with Mereoleona and never lost to her, despite her strength and the opposite element. Ashier later married and gave birth to 4 children, Nozel, Nebula, Solid, and Noelle. However, she died giving birth to Noelle due to a curse cast by the demon Megidula. Curse? Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to discuss with you. Could you protect Noelle? I'm afraid she might die because of the curse too. I know you have the strength. You are her brother, so why don't you do it yourself, or can you only humiliate her? Understand? I didn't mean to harm her. I protected her all this time, but she joined a different squad. What makes you think I have the power to protect her? As you said earlier, I'm the only one who doesn't have any mana at all. Yes, but you have another power, one that transcends this world. I don't know what it is or where you got it, but you, Asta, have complete control over it. So you agree to protect Noelle. Okay, I agree, but I won't do it at your request. I just want Noelle to be okay. End flashback. Black Bull's quarters. Everyone was making noise and going about their business. Suddenly, a portal appeared and Captain Yami emerged, followed by Finral. We're back, Finral said with a smile. Welcome back. Everyone present responded together. What did they want from you at the castle? Vanessa asked. I have an announcement for you all. A new dungeon has been discovered, the captain replied. A dungeon? Are you serious, Captain Yame? You're not joking? Magnus shouted across the room. Dungeons are like ancient tombs, preserving relics of the past. Sometimes they contain records of incredible magic or rare items, Naruto mused. Well, at least that's what they wrote in the books. What will it really be like? It's not that simple. Because the dungeons have appeared on the border with the enemy, the Kingdom of Diamond. We must quickly take care of this problem so that people from nothing was stolen from the diamond. There have been cases where magical objects capable of transforming civilizations have been found in the dungeon, and some have even mastered higher magic. Yami said, Can I go into this dungeon? Naruto asked, raising his hand. There was no point in going there for him, since he didn't possess magic. But he was doing it for Nero to make her magic stronger. Who was Nero? She was Sikri's Swallowtail. One evening, while they were walking, Sikri decided she wanted to distance herself from the past, so she suggested Naruto choose a new name for her. He thought long and hard. There were many options, but she liked Nero, which means black, the color she was wearing. Why do you need to go there? It doesn't matter, really. The Mage King chose you himself. Yama said, What about me? If so, I'll try to give it my all. Naruto said with a fake smile. Lack and Noel, you will go with him. Lack, you will be the captain. So where did Noel come from? The captain had chosen her during the exam, but because her number was one of the first, she followed Naruto into the squad room first. When Noel learned that the other new member was Naruto, she was embarrassed to leave. However, they still ran into each other in the kitchen at breakfast the next morning. If you're all ready, then I'll open the portal, Benral said. 3 people entered the portal and appeared in a clearing. Let's see. We're going that way. Noel pointed. At this time, Black Bull's headquarters. I wonder how the Magic King even knew about Asta. Magna asked the captain, tossing fireballs from hand to hand. This guy sees things we can't. The captain replied, Dungeons. It's so dark, said Noel, who was pressed against Asta's back. Be careful, he warned. Immediately after these words, Noel tripped and started to fall. But Naruto managed to catch her and lift her into his arms. She blushed at this. You better walk beside me, Naruto suggested. After walking a few more meters, Lack noticed a glowing panel on the wall. Pressing it, a passage opened before them. Stepping inside, the trio were greatly surprised by what they saw. Everything happening there defied the laws of physics. It seems like everything here is distorted by some kind of magic, Blup theorized. There's much more mana here than outside. Yes, I've never seen it in such quantity before, Noel said. Well, damn, I don't feel anything, Naruto said, pretending to be disappointed. I sense magical traps, Lack said, pointing towards one of them. I'll dispel them. Naruto dispelled all the traps that Luck showed him. Well, now then, Lack began scanning the dungeons. I knew it, we're not alone here. Creation magic, boots of the lightning god. Something important has happened. Go ahead and explore the dungeons. Lack flew into one of the passages. Hey, where are you going? Noel stood there, confused. That means he also sensed the enemies. He must deal with them, Naruto thought. Noel, let's go further, but be careful. There should be more traps here. Naruto knew about them because Nero, who was sitting on his head the whole time, warned him about them. Naruto was off guard because he was talking to a demon. He didn't notice Noel approach the trap. Hey, she screamed. Damn, Naruto exclaimed, pulling the sword out of the grimoire. Noel was attacked by a huge chimera that emerged from the water and wrapped her in vines. With one swing of his hand, Naruto finished off the chimera and caught Noel in his arms. Everything's okay now, Naruto said as he landed. Thank you. Noel blushed at this situation. They were about to continue on their way when suddenly, Asta, someone called out to him from above. Commentary on Part 8, the first mission. Oh! Part 9, Dungeon. Equals 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 equals. You know, why did you go in their direction? We need to search the dungeon quickly. These words belong to Klaus Lunet. We can't waste our time on these fools. Klaus is a tall, slender man with slanted, light, fuchsia-colored eyes. He has a long, sharp, thin nose and a prominent chin. He has short, light blue hair, combed back and to the side, with bangs that fall over the left side of his face. He also wears a pair of gold earrings and rectangular framed glasses. Hey, would you like to introduce us to that four-eyed upstart? Naruto said with a sly smile. What? 4 eyes? You're the upstart here, Klaus said angrily. This is sent by Klaus Lunet, answered calmly. Standing next to me is Mimosa Vermilion. They are my teammates. Well, I'm glad to meet you. My name is Aster, and this is my co-commander, Noel Silva, he said, pointing at her. Naruto walked closer to Mimosa. Mimosa? That name suits you very well. Naruto leaned down and looked into her eyes, from a distance of 30 centimeters. He had time to take in everything about her. Despite her young age, she already has the fully formed figure of a slender girl. Her light red curly hair is worn loose around her shoulders, with a medieval fringe. The caramel locks highlight her large, lime green eyes. A loose-fitting white shirt with a long collar and puffy, gathered, above the neat pantaloons of the same fine fabric are held up by a leather corset. The lightness and vulnerability of her clothing are offset by high leather thigh-high boots and a crimson cloak with a white fur border enchanted against attacks. A golden dawn cape completes the outfit. They didn't stand like that for long. After 15 seconds, Mimosa couldn't take it anymore and turned around, blushing. Cage! Klaus drew attention to himself. And where is your third comrade? Did he really abandon you? He went forward. Naruto answered at the same moment. What are you doing, fools? Then we'll show you the difference between the top of the Sorceress Knights and the very bottom, Klaus shouted furiously. Mimosa! Ah, flower creation magic, a guiding magical flower. A projection of the dungeon appeared before her. I've got the general layout of the dungeon. Wow, you can do that too, Naruto said in surprise. What? How did he get there? He was standing right next to me, Noel thought. This dungeon is quite large, Naruto said, looking at the map. Thanks for showing me, though. Come on, young man, Klaus said. Well, Aster, then we'll go. Okay, see you later. Yuno created a whirlwind of air that lifted him and his comrades. 5 minutes later. Aster, do you know where we're going? Noel asked, holding his hand. We're going to Lack. How do you know where he is? I feel his mana. What mana? But you don't control it. So how can you sense it? Noel asked, surprised. It's hard to explain, but we're already here. They emerged from the dark corridor and saw Luck fighting the mages of the Diamond Kingdom. He had already defeated several, but there was still one left. You instantly defeated your subordinates, you're strong. The man who spoke was sitting on a rock. He looked to be about 30 or 35 years old, with long, but not very black hair and brown eyes. He had what looked like a headband on his forehead. He was wearing a black and white trench coat, brown pants, and black boots. Aha, so they are only subordinates, but if you are their boss and stronger, then there are no problems. You've coated your body in lightning, it speeds you up and makes you stronger. You draw everything from mana. Let's fight. The Clover Wizards also came here for the treasury. My god, I'm sure we don't need to fight. After these words, the one sitting on the rock began to run away, but Lack caught up with him and tried to kick him. Well, that was fast, the man said, dodging and creating black smoke. He dodged? Smoke? Oh my god, it's so scary, he said sarcastically. The people of the Clover Kingdom are beside themselves, but it's clear we've been trying to invade your kingdom here and there. I apologize for all the trouble the Diamond Kingdom has caused. But you understand, our kingdom is running out of resources. If we want to survive, we have no choice. Understand? I don't care as long as I can fight strong people. A cut appeared on the enemy's cheek after Lack's move. Aster, let's help him, Noelle said, watching what was happening. No, I don't see any need to interfere yet. Let's continue observing. Naruto sat down on a rock near him. Okay then, she replied, squeezing his hand tighter. Yuno's POV. They have already reached the main gate of the dungeon, behind which are artifacts and treasures. What's so special about the dungeons? It wasn't difficult at all, Klaus said as he landed. I wonder how to get inside, Yuno asked. It looks like the Black Bulls aren't here yet, Mimosa said. That's for sure. They have no way to defeat us. After Klaus's words, Mimosa was struck by magic that appeared out of nowhere. What? She senses mana perfectly well, but she didn't notice? You're alive? Who's standing in my way? Fish, the stranger said coldly. A young man of average height, with pale skin. His eyes are pink, but he lacks eyebrows. Several magical stones are embedded in his body. 3 of them are located in the center of his forehead, and another is in the center of his chest. Who are you? Klaus shouted. Healing plant magic. A dome of flowers appeared around Mimosa, and she began to heal herself. I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to be the healer, but I fell first. Don't fill your head with unnecessary nonsense. Focus on healing yourself. Klaus began to examine the enemy, who was slowly walking towards them. That cloak, is he one of the invading mages from the Diamond Kingdom? What are these pebbles standing in my way? Crystals began to fly out of the ground. Cover. Understood. NPOV. I see now he really needs help. Stay here, and I'll help him myself. Naruto disappeared and appeared next to Luck. Fine. With one blow of his sword, he dispelled the smoke of the enemy in which Lack was bound. Looks like we have another guy. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Lotus Valmalt, said the enemy. And who are you? I didn't sense you coming. We've been friends for a while now. Naruto replied, I'll take care of him myself. I don't need friends, just my strength. Lack, breaking into a run, ran towards the enemy. What an insufferable guy. He reminds me of Sasuke in some ways, Naruto thought, looking at his back. Fine, have it your way. I suppose I can let it go, Lotus said. The enemy recoiled from Luck's blow and directed black smoke at him. If you want to act despite others, then I'll follow your example, Naruto said, clearing the smoke again. Think what you want, but we're friends and we should help each other. Part of me was trying not to realize I had loyal friends I could rely on. Luck considered. Exactly. It looks like fighting together will be more fun. This is really bad. You're making the old man fight seriously. Black smoke appeared around the trio, enveloping them. Do you really think that will stop me? Naruto said. While everyone was still confused, Naruto threw his sword into the smoke. This throw was aimed at the creator of the smoke. Damn, he dodged. Naruto cursed, pulling his hand back. The sword returned to his hand. I don't want to draw attention to myself. I need to defeat him without using any other power. Got it! Naruto called Luck and Noelle to him and shared his plan with them. They would use their magic to draw the enemy toward him. Then, thanks to his lack of mana and the difficulty of being seen, he would strike them. Good start then, Naruto commanded. Lack began firing lightning spheres at him. As Naruto predicted, the enemy began moving toward him. Then, thanks to Noelle's magic, he flew up and struck Lotus with a precise blow, knocking him unconscious. I feel like Yuno needs help. I need to go to him, Naruto thought anxiously. Let's quickly continue our journey to the treasury. Okay, the two said in chorus. They started moving in the direction Yuno had gone. Commentary on Part 9, Dungeon. Sorry it took so long. I don't feel the time passing. equals 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 part 10. You're annoying. Equals 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 equals. The journey to Yuno took about 10 minutes. During this time, Naruto and Lut got to know each other better. Lut told him about his childhood, and Naruto, in turn, told him about his. Upon reaching the battlefield, the trio realized that not all was as smooth as they had hoped. Mimosa was wounded and healing herself with magic. Klaus, almost exhausted, was fighting a crystal replica of Mars, as their enemy Lotus had called it, and Yuno was fighting Mars himself. He was already down on one knee, bent over, and a huge diamond sword was flying toward him. Just before the sword struck, Naruto appeared before Yuno and cut the attack down. "Hey, you paleface! Get your hands off him!" Naruto said coldly. Well, I thought we'd get to the treasury first," Yuno said, standing up. "I just caught up with you, and what do I see? Why the hell did you decide to lose? That you're going to let him win?" Naruto began to speak, his tone more warm and emotional. "Why are you shouting? I almost defeated him." "You're a liar. There's not a single unharmed spot on you. One more blow and you're dead." "I was just thinking of making a counterattack." "What? A blatant lie. You've ruined everything. It's time for you to go home." All right, but first let's see how long this guy can hold out," Naruto said, looking towards Mars, his voice cold again. "What the hell just happened? No matter how much we, the Knights of the Golden Dawn, beat him, Diamond wouldn't give a damn. And now, some commoner from the Black Bulls just went and—" Klaus couldn't finish his thought. He heard footsteps behind him. These steps belonged to a crystalline replica of Mars, who attacked Klaus from behind. However, she was unsuccessful. Luck repelled the attack. "Weakling," Luck said, crushing the double. "He's the one who caused such a stir at the exam, by beating his opponent half to death. Luck is a wild delight." "So he's the third of the Black Bull. It's a shame. The Black Bulls saved me." Klaus shook, clutching his head. "So you're the one who beat up the guys from Dawn?" Naruto asked. "If so, then what?" "The weak die, the strong live." A dozen copies of himself appeared around him. "That's all. The weak have no place on the battlefield. I was born to break the likes of you. What are you so mad about? Then try breaking me." Naruto prepared to strike him, appearing behind him, but Mars managed to replace himself with a copy and jump up. Good reaction. "I'm just about to." Now Mars attacked Naruto. He pointed a huge sword at him, 5 or 6 times Naruto's size. However, he didn't lose his cool and leaped to meet the attack, cutting it with his anti-magic sword. After running through one of the pieces, Naruto struck Mars, sending him flying into the ceiling and piercing it. Bouncing off the ceiling, Mars flew toward Naruto, covering his hand in crystals. But this attempt was also in vain. He parried it again, sending Mars flying into the water. "Oh damn, I wanted to fight him too." Luck began to destroy the copies, helping him. "It's amazing. A plebeian, from whom I can't even sense mana, is capable of such a thing?" Klaus said, looking at Naruto. "All you do is whine." Noel reprimanded Klaus. "Undoing magic is Asta's power. Canceling magic? That's a pretty powerful ability for a worm. The baby was born under a lucky star, after all." "You think it's just luck? Watch and see for yourself." "What's wrong with his body? How much training did he have?" Klaus thought to himself, examining Asta's body. Mars's attack hadn't affected his body, but the same couldn't be said for his clothes. "Hey, do you really think I'm going to believe you lost?" Naruto said, looking at the spot where Mars had flown off to. "I can feel your mana fluctuating." At that moment, the page of the grimoire hovering above the water flipped, crystals forming around it. One massive chunk flew at Naruto, but he, like before, cut it. However, this time it was different. More crystals began to grow from the cut, covering Naruto from all sides. Asto, shouted. Immediately after this, other crystal fragments emerged from the water. It was clear that they belonged to the same figure. Who are you? I don't sense any mana in you, but you say you sense mine, Mars said, standing on the figure. Who am I? I'm someone born without a drop of mana. Naruto sliced open what appeared to be the paw of this crystalline creature. He wasn't harmed because he'd strengthened his defenses with chakra. I will destroy everything. The monster's paw began to rise. I won't let someone like you do this. Get out of my way, insignificant stone. A look of anger crossed Mars's face. Huh? Naruto began to prepare to jump. I may be a rock, but I'm a rock that will destroy everything in its path. After these words, they clashed again. This time, Naruto struck harder, causing the diamond creature to instantly disintegrate. The blow also passed through Mars, rendering him unconscious. Klaus restrained him with his magic. That should work, he said, adjusting his glasses. Well, let's go into the treasury. After standing in front of the door for a few minutes, everyone wondered, how do I open it? The size of the door was impressive. Mars's sword, which was several times larger than Asta's, was worthless compared to this door. There must be some kind of code to open it, Klaus theorized. At this time, Lack approached the door and passed a bit of mana through it. It looks like the door is made of magic. Just cut it down. Fine. Naruto approached the door and, with a few swipes, left cuts in the door. Within seconds, pieces of the door began to fall away along these cuts. As they fell, the six were presented with a view of the pile of gold in the treasury. Some ran, others remained reserved. But everyone was surprised. 5 of them began touching things they found interesting. One of the 5, was drawn to a scroll lying on a stand. He picked it up and opened it. What kind of unknown symbols are these? I've never seen them before. The grimoire began to glow. Yuno was engulfed in a green light, attracting the attention of others, and the symbols from the scroll disappeared. What was that just now? Klaus asked, approaching with Mimosa. No idea. Don't touch anything here. Put it back where you found it. He was the only one who didn't touch anything. Yuno silently put down the scroll, deciding not to mention the missing symbols. Asta followed Nero, who was leading him somewhere. She had been on his head the entire time. And now they approached a golden circle set into the wall. Do you want me to get to the other side of this wall? He asked her in a whisper. He never saw the answer, because the grimoire in Klaus's hands began to glow and flew towards where Mars was chained. Run! Luck shouted to those standing near the door. Mars burst through the door on an even larger diamond creature. Without waiting, he directed his attacks at the 5. The only one unharmed was Naruto, who was far from the entrance. You bastard! Naruto shouted. He pulled the sword from the grimoire and ran towards Mars. I already know your ability. Your sword can destroy magic, but what if magic is faster than your sword? A dozen diamond machetes appeared around Mars. They headed toward Naruto. His attacks have become stronger, Naruto thought as he parried the attack. It didn't take much effort, so he was distracted and missed the moment when Mars decided to attack him with the creature. At the last moment, Naruto reacted and reinforced his body with chakra. He flew into the wall and crashed through it. The weak die, and the strong survive. He repeated the phrase he had said earlier. Noelle was injured because she was closer to the door. Mimosa healed her. This attracted Mars's attention. Since Yuno, Luck, and Klaus were bound by Mars's magic, they couldn't escape without their grimoires. Naruto took his sword and was about to go and help, finishing him off, but the demon spoke to him. Don't you want to take a more practical sword? What? The demon spoke to him for the first time. Turn around, he added. When Naruto turned around, he saw a sword half the size of the one he had received from the grimoire. He walked over to the sword and took it. You're right. This sword is much more comfortable. Thank you. The demon did not answer. Mars created the same machetes and aimed them towards Mimosa and Noel. However, with his new sword, Naruto quickly deflected them. "Get away! I'll destroy that pathetic girl." Mars began to move towards them. "Like I'll let you. You're driving me crazy." Naruto decided not to drag it out. They'd already spent too much time on him, so he reinforced his body with chakra and lunged at Mars. It all happened in a matter of seconds. Mars fell unconscious, and Naruto stood behind him. "How did he get there so quickly? Is it the sword?" flashed through the four of them's minds. Only Yuno thought about Asta hiding his power. The dungeon began to crumble from all the damage it had sustained. Yuno created a whirlwind and picked everyone up. Naruto decided not to kill Mars, so he took him along with him. After they escaped, Naruto told them to leave Mars under a tree. He sensed his comrades in the dungeon. A few hours later, the Sorcerer Knights returned to their bases. Luck entered the room. Noel stopped Asta before entering, grabbing his arm. She said she had something to say to him. "Thank you for protecting me today," she said, blushing. "You're welcome. We're teammates after all. It's our duty." Naruto rubbed the back of his head, smiling. "Yes, but thank you anyway." She hugged him, blushing even more. Nero, perched on Naruto's head, was watching all of this. She became jealous and attacked Noel, causing her to stop hugging him and run into the room. "Why are you so angry?" She thanked me. Naruto petted Nero. HM Part 11. Rendezvous Today was a special day for Naruto. It was the first day off in a month since they'd visited the dungeons. He decided to spend time with Nero and discuss what had happened since then. That morning, at 7 o'clock, while some were sleeping and others were busy with their own affairs, Naruto and Nero had quietly left the base. About 100 meters away, hidden among the trees of the forest, Nero transformed from a bird into a human. She was dressed in a black top that accentuated her curves, and matching, but less tight, black pants. Sandals covered her feet. "You're very beautiful," Naruto said, unable to contain himself, looking Nero over. He didn't know what she would be wearing. "Thank you," she replied, blushing and turning away. "Let's go to the city quickly." The journey to the city took 30 minutes. Near the center of their route, bandits tried to attack them, thinking they were ordinary people because Naruto hadn't taken his cloak. So, who's that here? Two children are wandering through the forest. Are you lost, I suppose? You know, for a small fee I'm willing to guide you. Ah. The words belonged to the leader of them, a tall young man with light eyes, full lips, brown hair, and an afro. He wears red, striped pants with a sleeveless shirt and a belt around his waist. "Boss, let's have some fun with this girl," said the one on the right. "I don't sense any mana in the guy, and the girl has a low level." He analyzed the sensor on his left. "I think it will be easy." He continued speaking with a nasty smile. "Well, let's begin," said the boss. All this time, Naruto stood and listened silently to them. He really didn't want to fight today. He could have simply run away from them with Nero. But it was his duty as the Sorcerer Knight to stop criminals. Creation magic. Slime. Slime tentacles began to appear around the lead bandit. "Ah! Ugh! How disgusting!" flashed through Naruto's mind. Jiraiya's books immediately came to mind. Naruto walked up to Nero and picked her up. He didn't want her to get hurt, so he teleported to a tree and left her there. "I'll be finished with them soon. Wait here." "Fine." Naruto appeared as suddenly as he had disappeared. The criminals were surprised, as they sensed no mana in Naruto. "Are these just that girl's tricks? They won't help you. First we'll beat you up, and then we'll have some fun with her." "Who knows?" Naruto replied, clenching his fist. Naruto and Nero arrived at the place he had chosen to eat. "Wow, It's so beautiful here. Nero's face was filled with surprise. There weren't any places like this in my time. The brightly lit facade and marble staircase, the exquisite wrought iron railing, and the lush potted flowers silently invite, even tempt you to enter. Refined aristocracy and understated luxury reigned here. Good afternoon. Can I help you with anything? There was a reception desk just beyond the restaurant entrance. Behind it stood a man, and it was this man who caught the attention of those entering. Yes, I made a reservation with you, named Aster Sukahiro. Naruto silently prayed to all the gods that Yama wouldn't find out he'd taken his last name. Okay, Aster Sukahiro, here I see, VIP seats for 2. Follow the maitre d'. Please follow me. The maitre d' led them to their seats. An even more astonishing view unfolded before Nero. Marble floors and a bronze-framed mirror, striking wallpaper and upholstery. The spacious dining room, light-colored furniture, and panoramic windows overlooking the picturesque lake all create a sense of freedom and ease. The restaurant's main dining room is decorated in a discreet and elegant style. In the center stands a unique fireplace, lit in the evenings. Sit down. Thank you. After they sat down, Nero spent about 5 minutes looking around. Then she asked Naruto a question. Why did you bring me to such an expensive place? You said we'd talk. A more modest place would have been fine. Yes, but conversation feels different in a pleasant setting. Besides, there's less chance of someone seeing us. And what are we going to talk about? I know it's been a while, but do you remember the sword I got in the dungeon? Yes. Oh, could you tell me about it? Although I have an idea of its properties, I couldn't find any information about it. And you led me to it. Okay, your sword is the Demon Dweller's sword. This sword can store anti-magic and project it at its opponents in the form of slashes. It can also borrow magic from those around it to increase the power and range of its attacks. Nero explained carefully. You know a lot. Nero blushed at the praise. Oh, come on. That's still not complete information. Did you want to ask anything else? Wouldn't you like to stay in human form all the time? I wanted to, but I somehow need to be in the Black Bull's premises. I don't know if they'll want to accept me. Don't worry, I'll talk to the captain. He'll definitely accept you into the squad. Besides, you know our team is friendly. They'll definitely be happy to see you. And if not, I'll stay with you until the end, Naruto said firmly. After these words, dishes were brought to their table. After eating, Naruto continued the conversation. Can I ask one last question? Certainly. How old are you? What? Nero asked. Surprised. She hadn't expected such a question. You? Want to know how old I am? Yes. Is there a problem with that? Naruto didn't understand what he had done wrong. Nero was about to throw something at him, but Naruto called out to Nozel, stopping her. Nozel? What are you doing here? I and my friend came here with my sister. With Noelle? Yeah, she keeps telling me about you. Nozel leaned closer to Naruto and continued in a whisper. You know you shouldn't ask a girl her age? Naruto remembered how angry Tsunade had gotten in his world when he'd asked her how old she was. What could have happened now? Exactly, thank you, he replied, also in a whisper. I'll be going before Noelle gets here. Sorry for disturbing you. Nozel said goodbye as befits a nobleman. For a few minutes after Nozel left, Naruto and Nero sat in silence. She turned away, puffing out her cheeks, showing her offense. Well, I'm sorry. Don't be angry. I didn't mean to offend you. I was just curious. After all, you grew up with the first Sorcerer King. Nero was hinting that he wouldn't get her forgiveness that easily. Okay, I know how to fix it. Naruto asked for the bill and left the restaurant. He had a plan to apologize to Nero. After all, he'd read Jiraiya's books. You could say the gods blessed him today. There was a festival in town. This was the first place he decided to take Nero. Wow! Nero looked around at the countless people walking along the streets, which were lined with booths selling various things. Each booth is unique. Some sell food, others clothing, and some even make money by hosting games. Do you like it? Very much. But don't think that's the only reason I'll forgive you. Don't worry, my apologies are still to come. Naruto took Nero's hand and led him into the center of the festival. This place will be better once it gets dark. They stayed at the festival until evening. While strolling, they encountered some familiar faces. The first was Finral, who, oddly enough, had been trying to pick up girls, but wasn't having much success. Finral noticed Asta and approached him. Asta, what are you doing here? I've been looking for you since this morning. I wanted to go to the festival together. He started to approach, but I couldn't find you anywhere. Ah, I got up early because I had business in town. Naruto rubbed the back of his head. Who is that beautiful lady next to you? Are you on a date? Finral looked her over from head to toe. Something like that. You'll know more about her soon. Could you leave us? As you say, friend. Finral left them alone, but they weren't alone for long. 5 minutes later, the second people they encountered were Mimosa and Klaus. Their conversation was also brief. The two found themselves there, walking toward their quarters. Klaus didn't seem particularly interested, but Mimosa wanted to know who the girl next to Naruto was. Halfway through their time together, Naruto encountered someone he didn't expect. It was his brother, Yuno, and Shamami's teammate. It was clear they weren't meeting by chance. Of course, Naruto noticed Shamami's interest in Yuno, but how did Yuno know? And how long had they been together? This time, Naruto approached first, his curiosity filling him. Hello! He approached his brother, smiling. Aster, hi to you too. What are you doing here? Yuno was surprised to see his brother. Aster? Hello, Chami said cheerfully. She held Yuno's hand the whole time. Yuno, can I talk to you for a minute? Naruto tugged at his hand. The girls will get to know each other better during this time. Nero and Chami were left alone, while Naruto led Yuno into the alley. You don't want to tell me anything? Naruto asked curiously. How long have you been dating her? We haven't seen each other since the dungeon. Tell me. Tell me what? You'd know everything if you'd taken an interest in your brother. Yuno feigned offense. And you've got a girlfriend. So you've been dating her? How long have you been dating her? Naruto was becoming increasingly curious. How long ago? About 3 weeks ago. I saved her on one of the missions. That's when I awakened my spirit. A spirit appeared next to Yuno. It's Sylphide, a tiny young girl with a pair of insect-like wings and pointed ears. She has light green hair, green eyes, and fair skin. She wears a short, sleeveless, pale green dress and no shoes. Wow! Yuno! Chami called after him. Come quickly, there will be fireworks soon. I need to go, and don't keep your lady waiting. That was where their chance meetings ended. Fireworks? Nero said, surprised. Do you want to see? Uh-huh. If you show me, I'll stop being offended. Then let's go. I'll find a better place for us. He found the best place, from which he could see a good part of the city, and all the fireworks were visible. I forgive you, Nero said, watching the fireworks go off. I'm not finished apologizing. You brought... Nero couldn't finish. Naruto leaned toward her, took her chin in his hand, and turned her head toward him. It was a kiss. In that moment, he realized Nero was the one. Full of passion, the act lasted for at least a minute. Afterward, Nero withdrew a short distance. Their tongues were visibly entwined with saliva. Part 12. What is key? The location of the action is unknown. Hey, I was summoned using teleportation magic, but you haven't collected enough mana, said the girl who appeared on the cave's cliff. A young woman with a slender, curvy figure, dark red eyes, and black glasses. She has tousled, medium-length black hair. She wears a cropped black top to cover her breasts. A burgundy miniskirt, slit at the edges, reveals her thighs and is held up with a string around her waist. She also wears a pair of black knee-high boots. Long sleeves completely cover her arms. She often leaves her robe open, revealing her body. "They're in our way!" The words belong to the person who was tied up and pushed against the wall. "The Eye of the White Knight. This is the terrorist group that attacked the capital?" asked an elderly nun. "Yes," Naruto answered. "So it was because of you that Maria had to go through all this pain?" Gosh looked angrily at the face that appeared. "I'll kill you." After speaking, he used magic from his mirror. A beam of light flew towards the enemy, but the enemy easily dodged it. "Gel magic, Lipka Salamander." The beam aimed at her hit the salamander and changed direction. "I'm on my way." The girl jumped into the middle of the salamander and began moving towards the magic knights. "Attack," Naruto said. "I'll take charge." Naruto lunged forward, cutting through the salamander with his sword. However, he couldn't reach the girl herself. Unfazed, he pushed off the wall and headed toward her again, but the same thing happened again. Anti-magic is not a problem if it can't reach me. Mirror magic, restraining reflection. Good magic, but it refracts through the salamander's core, making it pointless. Perhaps you would have succeeded if your attack had been stronger. Having finished speaking, she waved her hand and sent a portion of the salamander toward Gosh. This portion pinned Gosh to the wall, preventing him from moving. "I'm already here, Asta," she said joyfully, attacking him. What an annoying girl, Naruto thought. Her magic isn't dangerous, but I'm being kind today, and I'll play along. A tentacle was heading his way. Without thinking, Naruto sliced it with his sword, but it split into 4 more pieces and grabbed him, yanking him sharply toward the girl. "Hehe, got you." The girl sat on his torso, starting to climb towards him. "It's a good thing Nero didn't come with us, otherwise she would have killed me if she saw me in this situation," Naruto thought. "You look like an ordinary person." She licked his cheek. "I want to know everything about you. I need to get her out of here so she doesn't hurt anyone else." Naruto teleported to the clearing where Finral had once transported them when they were heading to the dungeon. "I hope they think it's hostile magic." "Ah," the girl said, surprised. "Where are we?" "We were in a cave." She turned her head, looking in different directions. "I was the one who brought us here," Naruto said, breaking free from the salamander's grip. "You? But you don't have magic," she said, surprised. "It's not exactly magic." "What then?" "It would take a long time to explain, and that's not why I brought us here." Naruto assumed a position that left about 10 centimeters between their faces. He didn't want to, but the way the girl was sitting made it impossible to change. "We'll continue our fight here. You won't be able to hurt anyone, and I won't have to hold back." "Ahaha, can't hold back. You only have anti-magic." The girl started laughing. "You forgot, it doesn't work on me." Well, who knows? Touching the salamander they were floating on, Naruto dispelled it. They began to fall, and the girl couldn't use her magic in time, so Naruto grabbed her in his arms and landed. "Thank you, Asta," she said, sliding down from his arms. "I've been wanting to ask you for a long time. How do you know my name?" Naruto stepped away from her and stretched his arms upward. "What do you mean, from where? Don't you remember? We fought before. I told you my name." The girl began to feel offended by these words. She thought he remembered her. "Excuse me, could you remind me of it?" Naruto moved behind her to put on the cloak that had fallen off during the fall. "My name is Sally." "Nice to meet you, Sally. Let's begin our fight," Naruto said, preparing to attack. Honestly, I don't know how to fight," Sally said, hitting herself on the top of her head. "I wanted to use my partner, the one you captured and turned into a monster. But you brought me here. So what should I do with you? Naruto stood thoughtfully. I'll have to neutralize you and go back. But how? Do you want to tie me up with rope? No, I have a better way. Naruto touched her with his finger and placed a paralysis seal. That way, you won't be able to stop us. The next moment, they were back where they came from. After teleporting back to his comrades, Naruto realized he'd done it just in time. He saw the nun and the others impaled by magical light. Gashu was crawling half-dead toward them. Approaching the nun, Naruto saw that she was dead. This upset Gashu. All of you were born sinners, said the person who possessed this light. Tears welled up in his eyes. Naruto had approached the nun, leaving Sally behind. The enemy had taken advantage of this and carried her off. Poor Sally, look what they did to you. Mr. Licht. Rest, my child. Voltas. Another enemy standing nearby created a teleport, which Sally entered. Asta, see you later. I'll get you at any cost. These were Sally's last words before she disappeared. God forbid I meet her again, Naruto thought. Naruto's thoughts wandered from Licht, as Sally had called him, and he didn't notice him making a speech. After listening for a moment, Naruto concluded that this was another one of the offended girls. What nonsense are you talking about? Naruto interrupted him. You were the ones who attacked us first. Licht's reaction was not long in coming. With one precise blow, he sent a light arrow towards Naruto's knee. Due to carelessness, it hit, making a hole. Shut your mouth, Licht said angrily. You're just trash. Damn, I got too relaxed. I have to be careful with him. The arrow that had struck his knee dissipated. Naruto began to slowly heal the wound and consider his strategy. I can use the sword as a shield, then I will avoid serious injuries and be able to reach him. Naruto started running towards him. But the enemy was much faster than he expected. In a matter of seconds, Licht was behind Naruto, gathering magic in his hand and firing. I won't have time to use the sword. I need to use a replacement. However, he never did. At the last moment, a sword appeared above him from the teleporter, blocking the beam. This sword belonged to Captain Yama, who had been teleported by Finral. Captain? What are you doing here? Naruto was surprised by his appearance. Oh, just a little lost. What about this one? This is the leader of the Eye of the White Knight. I imagine their leader differently, Game said disappointedly. Finral, transport the children and the others to the city, Naruto commanded. Yes, but what about you? Don't worry. I still have some strength left. Finral led everyone through the teleporter. For people remained on the battlefield. Licht attempted to strike Naruto, but the captain parried the attack. I've relaxed again. I need to activate my eyes. But how did the captain repel the attack? Naruto was surprised. Captain, how did you repel the attack? I don't have time to explain it to you now. Yang began to fend off all the attacks aimed at him. Amazing! What an amazing person the captain is! He emphasizes physical abilities enhanced by magic. And he cuts through my light magic with a sword coated in dark magic. However, that's not all. Licht moved behind the captain and attempted to fire from close range, but Yang reacted and blocked the attack. So that's the strength of a foreigner among the Sorcerer Knights. What? Hey, have we ever crossed paths before? Yang struck him in the neck, but he dodged. They engaged in close combat, which didn't last long. Neither could hit the other. Licht closed the distance and began attacking with arrows again. Let me tell you a story, Licht said, still attacking. Long ago, in a small village, there lived people with very powerful magic. They were generously gifted with mana. They controlled the weather and changed the landscape. People from other villages worshipped them, but gradually fear of such power grew among the people. Out of greed, the mages were betrayed and killed. And what's this story? What does it have to do with you? Yang began to move toward him, deflecting arrows. Okay, I'll tell you a story too. In a certain kingdom, There lived an innocent boy. Everyone around him was a fisherman, so he started fishing as a child. And one day, his boat got caught in a storm. He washed up on the shore in a strange land. He belonged to a different clan and culture, so things weren't easy for him, but he kicked their asses. The end. Lick and Yame separated. Lick teleported to his partner, and Yame jumped back to Naruto. Since you're a stranger, my story has no relevance to you. You need to leave the stage. Lick's attacks grew faster and more powerful. Some of them penetrated and damaged Yama. Captain, I wonder how much longer you can hold out. Yami began moving toward Lick again, but he wouldn't let him close the distance, releasing a beam of light toward the captain. Yame had to wait for the right moment to strike, and he succeeded. Using magic, he was able to inflict damage. Hey man, were you watching carefully? Now repeat it. Yes, sir, Naruto said, feigning the same tone as Obito when he was pretending to be Toby. Wait, how? You remember, I don't have any money. Are you completely stupid? You seemed smarter when we first met. I want you to repeat not the attacking blow, but the parrying one. But how? I hardly see his attack. I'll explain it just once. In my area, there's a thing called ki, and it's thanks to it that I can block his blows. Ki? Not mana. Naruto was surprised that in this world, they could rely on anything other than mana. The feeling of someone else's gaze, the sound of their breathing, their scent, the movement of their muscles. Chi is all types of life energy emanating from a person. In my case, I combine it with magical and physical strength. The result is something like a magical swordsman. He has the courage to speak during a fight? What impudence, said Comrade Lichta. He's just full of surprises. Just think, keeping up with my speed. Let me help you, Mr. Licht. Thank you, Valtos, that guy. Would you mind grabbing him? It's nothing, he said, creating a purple flame in his hand, which appeared behind Naruto the next moment. Oh, by the way, practice on that skinny one with the slanted eyes, Yama said. Okay, Captain. Commentary on Part 12. What is ki? Please report any bugs in the public beta.